In this video, we are going to discuss about bacterial disease in common disease in human beings, in human health and disease. So, bacterial disease. There are so many bacteria which causes disease in human being. Such bacteria is called pathogenic bacteria. Pathogen means the organism which causes disease is called pathogens. So here the bacteria is causing the disease in human beings. So we call the bacteria as pathogenic bacteria. So when the pathogen enters into the body, it emits the toxins. Due to the toxins, the human body got affected. And we're going to see some of the bacterial diseases in human beings. First one is Shigellosis. Shigellosis, that is bacillary dysentery. And the causative agent is Shigella species. Site of infection, where it got infection, it is a bacillary dysentery. So dysentery means in the stomach only it got affected. In the stomach, that too in the intestine part it got affected. So mode of transmission, food and water contamination by fecals and oral route, that is fecal oral route. Okay. And symptoms, what are the symptoms? Stomach, that is it got affected the intestine region. So there you have the pain, abdominal pain will be there. If the stools are going in watery means dehydration. So the dehydration in the body is seen, and blood and mucus in the stools is also seen. The next one is bubonic plague or black death. So causative agent is Yersinia pestis. Where it got affected? Lymph nodes. So the mode of transmission is rat flea vector Xenophila cheops. Symptoms: fever, headache, swollen lymph nodes. So fever, headache and swollen lymph nodes are noted as the symptoms of bubonic plague. And the next one is diphtheria. So causative organism is Corynebacterium diphtheriae. So and the symptoms, where it got affected, that is the site of infection is larynx, skin, nostril and genital passage. So the mode of transmission, how it got transmission? Through droplet infection. And the symptoms: fever, sore throat, hoarseness and difficulty in breathing. Next is cholera. So the cholera, it is the causal organism is Vibrio cholerae. So where it got affected, which the site of infection? The cholera means, so it deals with the stools, watery stools, and intestine region it got affected. Region is intestine. How the mode of transmission is contamination of food and water, fecal oral route. Severe diarrhea and dehydration. So that is the symptoms for cholera. Severe diarrhea and dehydration. Next, tetanus. So tetanus or low jaw, that is locked jaw. Not low jaw, locked jaw. So it deals with the jaws. So the causative agent is Clostridium tetani. So where it got affected, which part it is got affected, the site of infection is spams of muscles. So how it transmitted? Through wounded infection it got transmitted. So the symptoms is rigidity of the jaw muscle. The jaw muscle become thickened and increased heartbeat rate and swams of the muscles of the jaw and face that can be noted. And the next one is typhoid fever. It is otherwise known as enteric fever. Causative agent is Salmonella typhi. And where it affects the intestine, and that mode of transmission is contaminated food and water. Symptoms: headache, abdominal discomfort, fever and diarrhea. Pneumonia. So the next one is pneumonia, The causative agent is Streptococcus pneumoniae and the affected area is lungs. How it got transmitted? Droplet infection, and the symptoms is thick mucopleurum. Sorry. How it got transmitted means droplet infection, and the symptoms is fever, cough, painful breathing and brown sputum. The next last one is tuberculosis, TB, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. The causative agent, the affected area is lungs. And the infection, that is mode of transmission, takes place through droplet infection, and the symptoms is thick mucopurulent nasal discharge. So the nasal discharge is thick. Okay, so these are the disease. In this they can ask any 5. They will ask, write any 5 bacterial disease which affects in the human beings. So you come across this. So 5 mark question definitely in this they can ask. And the bacteria spread, that is how the transmission takes place, means through air and water or by inhaling the droplets. That is inhaling the droplets or aerosols, or even by sharing utensil, dresses with an infected person to another person. And typhoid, that is the typhoid fever, was confirmed by the Vidal test. So the Vidal test, through the Vidal test only it is the confirmatory test for typhoid. Bacterial resistance. If an antibiotic is used too often to fight a specific bacterial infection, the bacteria may become resistant to the specific antibiotic. Hence, the specific antibiotic can no longer be used to treat the bacterial infection. So, some of the bacteria have developed resistance to many antibiotics. Therefore, the infection caused by these bacteria are difficult to be cured. So, if you are using that is, if you got a normal fever and you are using antibiotics, some of the bacteria can create the resistance against the antibiotic you are using. So, think that if the bacteria has create the antibiotic resistance, if we take the antibiotic resistance also, the bacteria will not assist. And how it going to be? It is very difficult. If the bacterial resistance or resistance grows in the bacteria, it's difficult to cure the disease affected by the bacteria. Okay. And the next one is risk of bacterial resistance can be reduced by the observing the following step. So you can avoid the bacterial resistance. That is some of the risk, but you can observe this rule. That is, these following means you can avoid it. Avoid using antibiotics to treat minor infections that can be taken care by our immune system. So, for example, a small headache or a small knee, that is a common cold, like that, the region, you shouldn't take the medicine antibiotic. So, it can be taken by a place by our immune system itself. Do not use any antibiotic to treat viral infections such as a common cold or flu. So, for common cold, you shouldn't use any antibiotics. So, that can affect the bacterial and it will cause bacterial resistance also. Always follow the prescription, skipping doses or failing to complete the prescription may allow the antibiotic resistance to develop. So, if the doctor is giving for to follow the antibiotics for 1 week, what we will do, within 2 days we got okay. So, after we won't follow the prescription. So, if you're taking an antibiotic, you have to complete the course. Otherwise, it will create a big problem in future, and due to this also the bacteria can develop the resistance. So, it is very difficult to fight with the bacterial resistance. Okay. So, if you follow these 3 rules, we can avoid the risk of bacterial resistance. Okay. So, this they can ask in 3 marks. Hope you understand the topic. If you have any doubts, post your doubts in the comment box. Give a thumbs up, share and subscribe to Science Easy Tech channel. If you want to watch the video in Tamil, I had given the link in the description box. You can go and watch it. Thank you.